My beloved child, today, I do not come to ask what you have achieved, how far you have succeeded, or how well you've lived according to the standards of the world. I come simply to sit beside you for just 1 hour as a father longing to whisper to his child the deepest truth of all, that you are loved, that you were created for a purpose far greater than anything you are chasing after each day. I see you. I have been with you when you rose too early and slept too late. I was quietly present when you worried about the future, when you struggled with bills, with work, with broken relationships. I heard your sighs in the stillness of night, and I know many times you feel as though no one truly understands you, not even yourself. The world you live in constantly urges you to move forward, faster, more, better. But has anyone ever taught you how to step back, how to listen to your own soul, how to see life through the lens of eternity? My child, do not be deceived into thinking that life is merely a cycle of being born, growing up, earning a living, and then dying. You are not the product of chance. I created you with love and placed within you a soul of infinite depth, a soul that longs for things beyond the material. The life you are living now is only the opening chapter of a far longer story. Yet sadly, many of my children live as though this is the whole book. They pour all their strength into what will pass away: status, money, recognition, forgetting that when your eyes close for the last time, none of these will follow only your soul. Have you ever asked yourself, after everything, what am I truly living for? If your answer revolves only around achievements or temporary security, then today, I invite you to look beyond. Do you know, the greatest danger is not failure, but forgetting the reason you exist. Not all pain is badsome. Pain is a wake-up call. But unceasing busyness, aimless drifting, that is what puts the soul to sleep in the shell of what seems like a normal life. I gave you freedom not so you could lose yourself. I do not force you to believe, nor do I demand that you live by harsh rules. But I am always inviting, through nature, through life's events, even through that emptiness in your heart, the feeling that something's missing, that nothing in this world can fill. My child, that emptiness is shaped like me, amid the rush of life. I ask you for 1 hour, to listen to your own soul, and to listen to me. No phone, no social media, no work agendas, just you and me. In that hour, I want you to know you are not meant to carry everything alone. I am here not to judge but to walk with you. There is no wound too deep for my love to reach, no failure that will make me give up on you. I do not come to demand instant holiness. I come to remind you, you are my child, and that truth never changes. If you are standing at a crossroads, I invite you to choose the path that leads you back to the light, even if that road is narrower and more rugged than the easier path before you. If you are weary, come and rest in I do not promise to erase all your struggles, but I do promise to walk with you and transform you from within. Each day is a gift not just to repeat, but to grow, to love, to live true to the mission entrusted to you. Ask yourself, today, have I lived for something greater than myself? Have I noticed a soul that needs a word of comfort? Have I forgiven what my heart still clings to? Have I dared to take one small step toward truth even if that truth may wound me? My beloved, I do not promise you will never cry, but I promise that not a single tear of yours will be in vain. If you offer it up, I will turn it into a seed for a good and holy harvest. You are living in the temporary, but it is today that your soul is being shaped for eternity. Do not wait until the edge of death to think of what lasts forever. I do not want your soul to panic when it is already too late. I want you, today, to live with your eyes turned toward true life, the place of peace, of fullness, where I await your return. My beloved child, among the countless moments you may consider ordinary, there is one that cannot be bought, nor ever regained. It is this very moment. The present moment, not the yesterday that has passed, nor the tomorrow that has not yet comes, the place where I, the Eternal One, I am waiting for you. You don't need to prepare anything grand. You don't need to perfect yourself completely. You only need to show up, simply, with an honest heart. For I do not meet you in your achievements, but in your being, not in a flawless future, but in this fragile moment. You often think that a special sign or significant event must happen before it's the right time to begin again. But I say, now is the time. While you're reading these words, while your heart is still stirred by something you can't quite name, that is when I am nearer than ever. Don't wait for everything to be in place. Don't wait until you feel worthy. Because if you keep waiting until you are ready, you may miss the very moment in which I am calling your name. Every breath is proof that mercy still flows through your veins. Every heartbeat is a gentle reminder that you still have the chance to return. And each time you pause, silencing the noise of the world, you will hear my voice, no loud or forceful, but soft, like a breeze passing through a parched soul. This very moment, if you open your heart, the grace will pour out, not because you are good enough, but because I am love. So do not dismiss the present moment. Do not believe that small moments are meaningless. It is precisely these moments that are holy ground where I am present, where you can begin again, not by your own strength, but by the life that flows from heaven. My child, do not think life on this earth is merely a weary cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death. Every breath you draw, every morning you open your eyes to the first light of day, is not a meaningless repetition. It is another step on the journey back to the Father's house. This life, though fleeting, is the beginning of eternity. It does not end in the grave. It opens a door to everlasting life. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, where am I heading as these days pass by? You may be busy making a living. You may be immersed in countless small, nameless tasks, but don't let that make you forget that every moment can become sacred if you offer it to me. Whether you are caring for your family, listening to a friend, or working in quiet service, if you do it out of love, you are helping build a kingdom that will never fade away. Even when you feel lost, misunderstood, or unseen in your efforts, remember, not a single drop of sweat shed in love is wasted in my sight. I see every small act you perform with faithfulness, and I treasure them as precious jewels in the storehouse of heaven. Life is not just about fulfilling tasks. It is about preparing your soul to know how to love, how to forgive, how to live as a child of light. Don't hope for a life without hardship, but know this: every step you take, every trial you endure in faith, is refining your soul into a sacred offering. When you live with the awareness that today prepares you for eternity, you are already beginning to live the eternal life here, in the midst of the temporal. My beloved, have you ever looked at yourself and asked, what is this life really for? I know how hard you've tried to endure days filled with tears, sleepless nights, and disappointments that seemed never ending. But I tell you, none of that suffering is meaningless. Every tear, every fall followed by a rise, every sorrow no one understands is the soil I use to grow your soul. You are not alive merely to survive. You are alive to discover meaning that transcends earthly limits. in every loss. I am opening a different path for you, a path where you learn to love without demand, to trust without seeing, to hope even when nothing has yet changed. This is where your faith is tested like gold, refined in fire to become pure. There are moments when you ask, "Why me?" And in that question, I see a heart that is beginning to awaken. I do not punish you with pain, but I allow it to touch your life so that you might learn what is eternally valuable. When you surrender even the things you don't understand, you are entering into the mystery of the cross where love grows quietly. You are not abandoned in your trials. I am there in every sob, in every moment when words fail to form into prayer, and when you keep walking patiently, even through weariness. I am silently shaping in your soul the image of the one who loved to the end. Do not fear what you do not yet understand. Instead, ask for the grace to see eternal meaning in the smallest things, for in those very things, you will encounter Meno in splendor. But in the humble heart that still dares to love and believes, even with head bowed low. My child, do you remember the last time your soul longed for something words could not express? That was no accident. That was the echo of your true home where I wait for you. Heaven is not the reward for the perfect, but the wide open arms for those who know they need love and salvation. Heaven, dear one, is not merely a place, it is the state of being fully alive in my presence, with no more distance. No more masks. No more sorrow. There, every tear will be wiped away, every loss restored by unfading love. Nothing on earth can compare to the joy of a soul bathed in eternal light. But to reach that place, you do not have to wait until death. Even today, you can taste heaven in a loving glance, in a forgiving act, in a moment of deep prayer. Every time you choose to love as I have loved, you are opening heaven's door here on earth. Do not think you must accomplish great feats to be worthy. No, the ones who enter the kingdom first are often the smallest, those who live with sincere hearts. When you are simple, when you cry over your failings and run back to me, when you offer a small sacrifice known only to heaven, there is more rejoicing than you could ever imagine. My child, heaven is not far away. It is nearer than you think. It is found where your heart belongs to me, where your soul softens, where you dare to trust again. And I, like the father who ran to meet his prodigal son, will always be the one waiting at the gate of heaven, never ceasing to hope to see your shadow returning. So live today as though you are preparing to step into heaven with love, with humility, and with unwavering trust. For the greatest promise I have given you is not a reward but myself, the one who has loved you from eternity, and will never stop loving you. My child, in the endless stream of time, each day you live is a sacred fragment of the journey toward eternal life. Never underestimate a small decision, for it is those very choices that shape the path you will walk forever. There is no moment without meaning when it is lived with love and the awareness of eternity. Do you still remember? When I created you, I did not dictate every step you would take. I did not make you a machine to be controlled. I gave you a gift. Not even the angels possess freedom. And because of that, each day you wake up is a new opportunity to choose light over darkness, forgiveness over resentment, listening over judgment, love over the closing of your heart. Sometimes, you may think that a single act of kindness means little amidst the chaos, but I tell you, from where I stand, nothing is ever small if it comes from love. A timely word of comfort can save a soul from the edge of despair. A smile shared can open a door of hope for someone who's lost all of theirs. And in these very choices, you are gradually shaping your soul in the image of the one who loves unconditionally. Do not be afraid that you are not good enough. I do not wait for you to be perfect before I love you. I love you in every sincere decision, even in your trembling first steps. If today you choose to rise after a fall, you have already taken a far greater step than someone who has never fallen and thus never known the mercy of love. Every morning is a call, my child. What will you choose today? And in every decision, choosing silence over anger, prayer over resentment, faithfulness in small things over dreaming of greatness, you are weaving an eternal tapestry for your soul. You don't need to see the whole path to know the direction. Just today, choose to walk in the light, and that light will lead you where darkness can no longer reach. So live each day as if it were the first day you were called, and the last day you'll have to love. Do not delay doing good. Do not wait until it's convenient to forgive. Do not assume there is still time. Each time you choose God, you choose life not only for now, but for eternity. And on that path, I walk beside you, smiling each time you dare to say, Lord, today, I choose you. My child. Have you ever paused amidst the rush of life and asked, why am I free to choose? When everything else around me seems so determined, it is because you are not a soulless creature, not a machine that obeys commands. You are a living image of me, the one who gave you the most precious gift after life itself, freedom. Freedom is not merely the ability to say yes or no. Freedom is the capacity to love without being forced. Without freedom, love ceases to be love. And because my love for you is real, I will never force you to love me back. I simply wait patiently and silently in the deepest part of your soul, where no one else can reach, where only you have the power to invite me in. But freedom is also a mission. It's not given for you to live by your own will, doing whatever you want without discernment. This gift comes with an invitation. Use it to choose what is right, what is good, what helps you become your truest self in my light. Each time you choose to live in truth, even at a cost, you make my image shine brighter in you. In that moment, your freedom becomes glory. I know the world offers countless voices, tempting choices that feel sweet but lead to emptiness. There will be times you feel torn between what you want and what you know is right. I do not grow angry when you waver. I do not leave you when you choose wrongly. But I always walk with you, gently nudging you back, not with thunder, but with a quiet ache in your conscience, a subtle unease in your soul. That is my invitation for you to reconsider your path. Do not underestimate the power of turning back. It is never too late to begin again. No matter how many times you've chosen wrongly, each time you whisper, Lord, help me choose again according to your will, all of heaven rejoices. For you are not only reclaiming your lost freedom, you are using it as a living hymn of praise to me. And then, as you begin to live in true freedom, not enslaved by emotion, not tied to the opinions of others, not clinging to what fades you, will start to feel a strange and beautiful lightness. It is the peace that comes from knowing you are living rightly, honestly, and for something far greater than yourself. Then, freedom becomes more than a right. It becomes a testimony. Others will sense in you a quiet strength, unshakable. They will ask, how can you live this way? And in that moment, your life itself will be the answer. Remember, my child, I did not create you to be controlled. I created you to live, to love, and to choose what is good each day. Each moment, freedom is a gift, but it is also a path you must learn to walk. And Ias, I will never take my hand from you. In every choice, whether shrouded or clear, I am always beside you, as the one who gave you freedom and guards it with my very life. My beloved child, sometimes you might think this world is everything, the final destination, the place where your worth is measured, the only shore worth reaching. But let me gently remind you, the world is not your home. It is only a stop along the way, a resting place on a much longer, deeper journey, a journey back to me. Life on earth may seem stable, alluring with its bright offerings, but your soul cannot be satisfied by these things. No matter how much you gain, no matter how high you climb in honor or power, there will always be a space that the world cannot fill. That space is mine alone, for I made you not to settle here, but to move forward toward eternity. Look to the fields after harvest, the blossoms that bloom and fade, the rains that come and go. Everything passes that is not a sorrowful thought, but a gentle reminder, nothing on this earth is forever. And because of that, you are invited to live with eyes lifted, with a heart that loves deeply but does not cling. The world is not the enemy. It is the place I've sent you to learn how to love, how to give, how to stretch beyond your limits. It is within this life that you are shaped, formed in faith. The small joys, the quiet wounds, the honest friendships, even the mistakes you've wept over alone, all are precious lessons that help you see my light in the shadows. Do not fear the world, but do not let it dull the sacred essence within you. When you live in the world but do not belong to it, when you enjoy without being dependent, when you love wholeheartedly, yet let go at the right time, you are living as a holy pilgrim. And in that, you become a witness to another reality, the kingdom of heaven, already begun in the heart that longs upward. Let today be lived with the lightness of one who knows the best of this world is but a reflection, a fleeting scent of something far greater. Do not fear being misunderstood when you live differently, when you choose values unlike the world's. I see you, and in each of those choices, I smile, for you are living out your true identity, one who is called to journey beyond this rest stop back home, where I am, where love is no longer bound by time or pain. My beloved, do not love too deeply the things that will pass. Love freely. Give without regret. Keep your heart light like one who walks but knows where they are going. For the world is not the end. It is only the prelude to an eternal love song between me and you. Beloved one, there are times when you believe you are truly living successful, complete, lacking nothing. Yet in one rare moment of silence, you are overcome by a quiet emptiness. This is not sorrow from circumstance. It is a call from the depths, a gentle reminder that your soul is waiting to be heard, longing to return to the one essential thing, your true self. In my light, spiritual awakening does not begin with a grand event. It begins when you pause amid the daily flow, become still amid the noise, and turn inward to realize you have strayed too far from your origin. You have been so outwardly focused that you've forgotten the sacred ground within your own heart, the place where I dwell and have always been waiting. The journey back is not a step towards something new, but a return to where you have always belonged. It is there that you will encounter truth once more, and find a peace that nothing else can replace. You will realize you don't need to strive to become someone else. You only need to be yourself, but yourself in the light, in truth, and in genuine love. My beloved, do not fear stillness. In stillness, your soul is healed. In listening, you will begin to notice what you once overlooked, a fear left unnamed, a wound still uncomforted, a sacred dream long forgotten. And I, like a gentle teacher, will not scold you for forgetting me. I will simply ask, do you want to begin again with me? Awakening does not come from pressure or fear, but from the longing to live authentically, true to yourself and true to God. You don't need to prove anything. I already know your heart. I love both your strength and your fragility, your light and your shadow. I am only waiting for you to look within and say, I want to live differently. I want to live closer to God. And when you utter those words, even in silence, all of heaven rejoices, because spiritual awakening is not a destination, but a journey that begins anew each day. Every morning that you wake and choose to live more deeply, to listen more attentively, to love more sincerely, that is when your soul is returning. And in every step, I hold your hand, like a faithful companion who never gives up. My child, be brave enough to step into the deepest place within yourself, not to remain there forever, but to emerge from it carrying new light and life. Awakening is returning, and returning is encountering me, the one who has never left your side, not even for a second. My beloved, modern life surrounds you with endless busyness, from waking up to alarm clocks, to countless tasks, to conversations that need replies, to worries about family and the future. Day by day, your mind is pulled in many directions, until there comes a moment when even you wonder what you're truly living for. And amid this fast-paced rhythm, you may pause and ask, where is peace in all of this? The answer may not come instantly, but the very longing for peace is itself a step back toward yourself and toward me. Don't think you have to wait until everything is in order, until your soul is tidy and calm, before you can encounter peace. On the contrary, peace is not a final reward, but something you can find now, in the midst of the chaos. If you are willing to pause and step into the deepest silence within, that is where I dwell, not with noise, not with pressure, but simply waiting for you to notice. Peace comes not from control, but from trust. It does not depend on outer circumstances, but begins the moment you dare to let go into my hands, like a child resting on a father's chest. This peace does not exempt you from trials. It does not erase all pain, but it transforms the way you live through it. You will no longer brace yourself to endure, but will learn to let love and faith carry you. You will begin to discern what must be held on to and what can be released. You will stop chasing every voice out there and begin to hear the quiet one within, my voice calling you to live truthfully, deeply, peacefully, amid the unfinished. When you learn to stay with yourself, to listen to the quiet stirrings of your soul, you will see that I have been there all along, not in thunder, not in grand miracles, but in gentle light, in the soft touch of presence. And in that moment, you are transformed. You return to the world not with haste, not with fear, but carrying a quiet light. You forgive more easily, empathize more deeply, love more naturally, not because you are trying to be good, but because you have encountered the one who is the source of peace. My dear one, do not wait for the perfect moment. Seek me in the chaos, in the uncertainty, even in the things you'd rather avoid, for it is there that I am waiting, not waiting to judge, but to embrace, not waiting to correct, but to lead. The peace you seek is not a distant goal, but me, the way, the truth, and the life. Let me become your path of peace through the busy days. My beloved, how often have you looked around and silently wondered, does my life truly matter? Does my presence in this vast world hold any real value? These questions do not make you weak. They are signs that you are beginning to touch the deepest layer of your soul, where you long to know who you are in the eyes of your Creator. And it is in that very place that you will find an unchanging truth. You were not born by chance, but with a sacred purpose, dreamed of from eternity. Life is not merely a chain of duties and routines. Each person is entrusted with a unique role in the wondrous tapestry of creation. You may not stand on grand stages or carry prestigious titles, but no one else can live your portion of life. Only you can love in the way you were called to love. Only you can reach the souls that only you are meant to touch. Every smile, every quiet sacrifice, every hidden prayer, when done in love, echoes into eternity. Do not compare your mission to that of others. Every soul walks its own path, patiently and gently guided by God. Some are called to go far. Others are invited to stay. Some preach with words, others through a loving silence. What matters is not your position, but your faithful presence in the small, everyday things. It is in those very places that your sacred purpose is being fulfilled, even if you do not yet realize it. And my child, even in those moments when your life feels like a string of failures, of missteps and disappointment, know that none of it is wasted if you offer it to me. I can turn broken pieces into light, disappointment into the most beautiful prayer. The goal of your life is not perfection, but truth. You don't need to prove anything, only to live wholeheartedly in the smallest role entrusted to you. For before me, nothing is ever small if it is done with love. My beloved, your very existence is a proclamation that God is still at work in this world. When you live true to your calling as a human being, a child, a sibling, a friend, a companion, you are telling the world that love still abides. And when this life draws to a close, you will see that every moment lived in that purpose has become eternal. Believe it, and go forward with gratitude. Your life, yes. You are an irreplaceable gift in this universe. My dear one, perhaps at times you look at yourself and feel small among the multitudes. But remember, you are not a random fragment in the tapestry of creation. You were made in my imagino, just in body, but in soul, intellect, freedom, and the capacity to love. This not only gives you dignity, but calls you to live in a way that honors that dignity, the dignity that nothing in this world can diminish. Not everyone easily sees that value in themselves, especially in a world that constantly measures by success, appearance, achievements, or status. But I do not look at you through those lenses. I see you with the eyes of a father, always perceiving beauty beyond your weakness, always recognizing in you the capacity to love, to create, to give. My image in you is never lost. No matter how many times you fall, it only needs to be gently restored by love to shine again. Do not underestimate yourself just because others fail to see your worth. Remember, you are where I long to dwell, a temple of the Holy Spirit, a vessel I have chosen to love and touch the world. When you are gentle, when you forgive, when you stand for truth even quietly, you reveal my image in the heart of the world. And you will see, you don't need to do great things to glorify your Creator, only to be faithful in the small things you have been given. Today's world can easily make you forget this truth. So many voices urge comparison, stir doubt, and make you retreat. But I ask one thing of you: when you look in the mirror and see more than a reflection, remember that you carry within you the light of the Most High. No one can take that from you. And when you believe in your own dignity, you will also honor the dignity of other 7, those the world casts aside. You were created out of love, to love, and to be loved. Never forget that. When you live in accordance with the image of God within you, you are not only living your true self, but helping the world remember what it has forgotten, that every person, regardless of background or circumstance, is worthy of reverence, because each is a reflection of the Eternal One. My beloved, deep within you lies a silent longing, yearning that reaches upward, seeking wholeness, peace, and joy that never fades. This is not a passing feeling, but an echo from your true homeland, the place I prepared for you before time began. As St. Paul said, our citizenship is in heaven, Phil 3:20. And for that reason, your soul will never truly rest until it returns to where it belongs. Life on earth, though beautiful and precious, is only the beginning. It is a journey through the desert, marked by sacred milestones and moments of rest, but the destination is not where you are now. You were not born merely for passing achievements, but to grow in grace and eventually be immersed in eternal light. Your soul bears the imprint of heaven, and so it will always yearn until it rests in me. You may feel this truth when you behold the grandeur of nature, witness a great act of sacrifice, or experience unconditional love. These are glimpses of heaven amidst the earth, a tender reminder that you were made for a fullness that does not fade. You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you, said St. Augustine, and his words still echo with eternal truth. But don't misunderstand. Being made for heaven does not mean detaching from earthly life. On the contrary, it is in the ordinary, in your daily relationships and responsibilities, that your soul is refined for its eternal home. When you choose charity, when you forgive, when you offer a quiet sacrifice, your soul takes one more step toward heaven. Heaven is not only a destination, it is an invitation to begin living now with a heart that belongs to eternity. When you love without seeking reward, when you pray from the depths, when you live the truth with humility, heaven begins in you. Don't wait until life's end to think about eternity. Every day lived in love and faith is a firm step toward that place where you will see my face in glory. My child, don't let the world make you forget where you belong. False voices will tempt you to live for the moment, but the true voice within will always draw you back to your source, me. Listen to that voice. Do not be afraid to long, for heaven it is no fantasy, but the promised meeting place of perfect love. And believe, though the journey may be long, every step you take in the light, I take with you, I who long to see your soul come home. My beloved, the life is not a straight line set in stone. It is an open journey full of crossroads, winding paths, and unexpected turns. There may be times when you feel you've gone too far, lost your way, or that it's impossible to return. But trust me, it is never too late to begin again, never too late to come home, and never too late to be loved completely and without condition. I do not wait for your perfection before I receive you. I do not love you because you've never fallen. I love you because each time you fall, you strive to rise again. When I am weak, then I am strong. 2:12. Because in your weakness, you no longer rely on your own strength, but allow me to lift you in mercy. Every tear of repentance you shed is a seed of renewal. Every choice for goodness, no matter how small, no matter how quiet, holds the power to begin again. For I am the one who makes all things new. Do not be afraid of the past. No matter how full of mistakes it may be, the past does not define you, It is merely the soil from which you can grow something more beautiful. No matter how deep the sin, my mercy runs deeper still. No matter how far you have wandered, I am always the Father standing at the threshold, not with eyes of judgment, but with a heart longing to welcome you home. Like the prodigal son returning, you will be embraced with an unfailing love, clothed in a new robe, and called my beloved once again, as if you had never left. Begin again, not with pressured striving, but with a humble heart. Begin with a whispered prayer, with a small act of love, with a decision to forgive others and yourself. Do not let shame bind your soul. No one is ever too late to be forgiven, for no one is beyond the reach of my love. If you can believe that, even just a little, I will take care of the rest and lead you farther than you ever dared to dream. My beloved, if today you feel weary, know that this very moment is a moment of grace. It is when I am closest to you. And if today you say, Lord, help me begin again, heaven will erupt in joy. For to me, nothing is more precious than a soul returning, even if it is late, even if it has wandered far, even if it seems all is lost. With me, even the smallest beginning in faith can bear eternal fruit. So don't wait any longer. Begin today, this very moment. I am waiting for you, my dear one. There are days when you walk in darkness, your heart heavy with unspoken questions. There are mornings when your soul feels dry, when you have no desire to pray, and all you feel is emptiness. And you wonder, where is God? Has he forgotten me? But know this, in those very moments, when emotions fade and the mind can grasp nothing, I am there, closer than ever. My presence does not depend on how you feel. I do not come and go like a fleeting breeze. I am the Eternal One, the one who is with you always, even to the end of the age. CFE. Mount 28-20. When you cannot feel me, it does not mean I am absent. Perhaps you are too busy, too anxious, or simply overwhelmed by noise. But none of that changes my faithfulness. I walk with you still, in every breath, in every step, in every heartbeat, even when you don't notice. Remember the two disciples on the road to Emmaus. They walked with me and did not recognize me until I broke the bread. CF. Like 24-13-35. So often in life, I walk beside you in the same way, silently, patiently, waiting for your eyes to recognize the love right next to you. I do not demand your attention, but I constantly offer gentle invitations, moments to pause, to listen, and to see with the eyes of faith. My presence is never boastful. It is a quiet call, always ready for your response. So do not measure my presence by fleeting feelings. Faith does not grow in comfort, but in the very moments when I seem absent, it is then that your faithfulness is refined, and your love deepens, because it no longer relies on sensation, but on trust. The more you believe without seeing, the more blessed you become. My beloved, learn to see life with new eyes. See me in the loving gaze of those who care for you, in an unexpected kindness, in the quiet peace that settles in the middle of a weary day. I am not far away. I am in the simple and the ordinary. Every time you love, forgive, or sacrifice, that is when I am alive in you and through you. And if today you still feel nothing, do not be discouraged. Simply remain faithful and repeat the humble prayer, Lord, I believe you are here, for my presence is not dependent on your emotions, but on my unchanging love, a love that never abandons you, not even for a moment. My precious child, When the world speaks of God, it often paints a picture of a stern judge or a distant being high above. But I did not come to cause fear. I came to reveal something far greater. God is love. Not love as the world defines it, conditional and fragile, but perfect, gentle, and everlasting love. I do not coerce anyone, nor bind with harsh laws, but invite with an open heart and a gaze that always looks upon you with kindness. Look to Jesus, who came not to condemn, but to save. I did not come to judge the world, but to save the world. When the adulterous woman was dragged before him, surrounded by those ready to cast stones, he stooped down, wrote on the ground, and said, "Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone." In the end, only Jesus remained, and his words were not of condemnation, but of freedom. "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." True love never humiliates, it lifts up. My beloved, it is in this love that I invite you to live. I do not seek from you flawless perfection, but a heart willing to love and to turn back. My love does not ask you to prove yourself worthy. It exists even before you realize it, before you change, and even while you are still wounded, like the father waiting for the prodigal son. I do not ask for explanations. Just one step back is enough for heaven to rejoice. And dear one, because love is perfect, it is also full of respect. I do not force you to follow me, I only invite. I do not demand that you love me, I simply love you first. I do not threaten with punishment, I move your heart with mercy. In every choice, I am beside you not to control, but to uphold, not to impose, but to awaken in you the desire to live authentically, beautifully, and worthy of the dignity of one who is loved. My beloved, when you realize you are loved unconditionally, you will no longer live in fear. You will act not out of fear of sin, but out of love. Faith will cease to be a burden and become a free response. And then, your life will become a song not perfect, but true, a song of praise to the one who is perfect love. Yesterday, today, and forever. There will be times in life when the noise outside seems to fade into meaninglessness. The praise of others, the competition, the dreams you once held dear, suddenly they lose their luster. That is not disorientation, it is a quiet invitation to return. Spiritual awakening is not a sudden act, but a slow journey back to your truest self, the one created by love and for love. You do not need to go far to find God. He is not hiding in unreachable heights, but dwelling in the quietest depths of your soul. All it takes is the courage to pause in the rush of your routine, in the midst of scattered choices, and you will hear a gentle voice, "Come back to me." It is not a voice of condemnation or pressure, but a tender call to remember who you are, where you belong, and what endures in this fleeting world. Awakening does not begin with changing your surroundings, but by listening. When you are brave enough to be still, not just outwardly, but inwardly, you will start to sense that someone is waiting for you in every breath. He does not push, does not rush, but patiently walks with you, simply waiting for you to open your heart. In that light, you will begin to remove your masks, let go of what is not yours to carry, and return to living from your soul. Beloved child, spiritual awakening does not detach you from the world. It allows you to live within it without losing yourself. When you know who you are in the light of God, you stop chasing external validation. You begin to live from within with peace, with purpose, and most of all, with a heart oriented toward the one who created you. That is the beginning of true freedom. And as you walk that path of return, I know that you do not walk alone. God never abandons the one seeking to come home. He slows his pace to match yours, lights your darkest steps with the glow of hope, and welcomes every tear of repentance with tender arms. For to him, nothing is more beautiful than a soul who dares to come back and live truthfully. That is awakening not to become someone new, but to return to being yourself in the light of love. There will be days when you feel swept away in the rush of life, where everything moves too fast, where people forget one another, and even forget themselves. Amid overlapping choices, conflicting voices, and nameless worries, peace can seem like a luxury. But dear one, even in the turbulence, there remains a way of peace, and you can find it. If you return to the deepest source within, peace is not the absence of storms, but the presence of something greater than all turmoil, God himself. When you turn your heart toward him, when you place your trust in him amid the uncertain, peace will quietly return, not as fleeting emotion, but as a steady foundation beneath your every step. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Cf. John 14:27. This is not an abstract promise, but a reality for all who dare to believe. Amid busy schedules and minds pulled in 100 directions, the miracle is this: if you pause for a moment, be still, take a breath, whisper a prayer, the door to peace will begin to open. You don't need to wait for things to settle. You don't need a perfect setting. Peace doesn't come from outside. It arises from the deep trust that someone is holding your hand, walking with you through every challenge. And dear one, the most beautiful truth is that path is not just for a chosen few, but for 11 for you. The one reading these words, you don't need to become someone else to find peace. You only need to return to your heart and realize that you are loved. You are held, and you are invited to keep walking in faith. In the eyes of God, you have worth not because of what you do, but because of who you are. So no matter how fast life moves, no matter how confused your heart becomes, remember, there is always a place of peace waiting for your return. It is found in quiet prayer, in faithfulness to the smallest good, in the courage to love amid a world that feels cold. That is when you are walking the path of peace, a path that is real. Even here, even now, no one is born by accident or without purpose. Every person, whether in the spotlight or quietly behind the synesis, loved and called by God, by name. Before you opened your eyes to this world, God had already thought of you with tenderness. You are not merely one life among many, but a unique part of his loving plan, a place that only you can fill. Your worth isn't in worldly achievements, but in the courage to live the call you were made for, to love, to be faithful, and to be fully present with all your heart. You may never be praised. No one may see your quiet sacrifices, but God sees all and treasures every small act, every choice to love, every moment you choose good, every time you rise above yourself to serve what is right. All of it fulfills the mission that only you can carry out. It is not something far away to chase, it is already unfolding, day by day, in your very life. And dear one, even if you feel lost or like you've failed, even if you've turned away at times, that purpose has not disappeared. It is still there, waiting for you to return, waiting for you to take the next step with a sincere heart. God didn't choose you because you were perfect, but because he sees something beautiful in you, even when you don't. He hasn't given up on you, so don't give up on yourself. Your mission may be to be a loving mother, a quiet father, an honest worker, or a friend who listens. Whatever it is, if you live it with faith and love, then you are already radiating the beauty of God into the world. And at the end of the journey, what will remain won't be your accomplishments, but the love you gave, because it is in living as a gift that your life becomes a reflection of eternal light. Don't let time pass unconsciously, only to ask at the end, what did I live for? Every moment you have now is a new chance to awaken and courageously step into the purpose God has for you, not by grand deeds, but by choosing kindness in the ordinary, forgiveness over resentment, and hope instead of complaint. Each day is part of a greater masterpiece that God is painting with your life. You don't need to know everything in advance or see the full picture. What God asks of you is your readiness and trust. Every step you take in the light brings you closer to the true meaning He has prepared for your life. Don't fear going slowly. Don't worry if your path looks different, as long as you walk forward with love and faith. You are living the highest purpose of your life, to love and to belong entirely to God. You are not created merely to exist, but to reflect the divine. From the very beginning, God breathed life into dust, giving you life and dignity, not as a random creature, but as the image of Himself, cf. Gen 1:27. This is not just a dry doctrinal statement, but a profound reminder within every glance, every smile, and every heart that loves, a reflection of God is present. You carry within you a beauty that surpasses all measurements of appearance or worldly success, and it is this truth that makes your life infinitely precious. Imagine if you truly believed that you were created in the image of God, how differently you would live. You would no longer diminish your worth, nor allow yourself to be driven by comparison, envy, or shame. You would begin to see yourself and others with more reverence and compassion, knowing that each person, even those you struggle to love, bears that same sacred imprint. This truth does not breed pride, but calls you to live with greater dignity, to love more deeply, and to forgive more freely, for you are called to reflect the love of the one who made you. My beloved, perhaps you are walking through weary days, unable to see anything good within yourself. But remember, even when you are misunderstood, rejected, or have turned away from yourself, God never does. His image within you is not erased by sin, not tarnished by failure, because He is always ready to renew it through mercy. If you allow Him to touch you, He will restore your light, brighter than before. So be brave and believe this. You are not only created by love, you are sustained by it. And so, your life is no longer a lonely or aimless journey. You are a masterpiece of God, wonderfully made, invited to live as a song of thanksgiving. Live as one who bears the image of the Creator, not by being flawless, but by choosing love in every circumstance. For every time you love, the image of God is revealed again in this world. Your soul does not belong to this earth. Though you live amid busyness, worry, and at times even pain, there is still a quiet voice within, a voice that continuously calls you to something higher. This voice is not a whisper of fantasy, but a truth engraved in your being from the moment you were created. You were made to live forever in God's love, to be united with Him in eternal joy. Your heart will never find rest until it rests in God, as St. Augustine once proclaimed with conviction. You may be living in a noisy world, where everything spins so fast that you easily forget your true destination. But if you stop, in silence, in prayer, in a moment of contemplation, you will see all that is beautiful and pure in your heart does not come from the world, but from heaven. Every time you long for truth, for justice, for kindness, or perfect love. Your soul is answering the call of its eternal home. This is not an escape from reality, but a way of seeing reality in the light of the eternal. Heaven is not merely a reward after death, but a destiny marked into your every day. Every time you love without selfishness, forgive without expectation, serve without seeking recognition, you are allowing heaven to begin here on earth. Your soul was made to live in the light, to sing in harmony with love, to dissolve into the unending joy of God. That is why all things that pass, fame, wealth, status, can never satisfy the deep hunger of your soul, for they are not fit for the eternity you were created for. My dear one, do not forget this amid the countless voices around you. When you feel lost, when the world shakes your footing, return to yourself and listen to the echo of heaven deep within your soul. It will remind you, you were not born to merely pass through, but to journey toward where you truly belong. And you will not walk alone, for God is always with you, always waiting, always leading. Let your heart be guided by that hope. For your true homeland is not here, but in that place where there are no more tears, no more death, no more separation, where God is all in all. My beloved child, your soul does not belong to this world. Even as you live amid busyness, concerns, and sometimes sorrow, there is still that quiet call in your heart, a voice that unceasingly urges you towards something greater. It is not the whisper of dreams, but the truth written into your being from the first moment of creation. You were made to live forever in God's love, to be in communion with Him in eternal happiness. Your heart will never rest until it rests in Him, as St. Augustine once cried out in sure conviction. Perhaps you're living in a noisy world where everything moves too fast and you easily lose sight of your true destination. But if you pause, in stillness, in prayer, in a moment of reflection, you will realize all that is most beautiful and pure within you does not come from this world, but from heaven. Each time you long for truth, justice, kindness, or perfect love, your soul is responding to the call of its eternal home. This is not an escape from life, but a deeper way of seeing it, through the light of eternity. Heaven is not only a reward after death, but a destiny inscribed into every moment of your life. Every time you love selflessly, forgive without needing payback, serve without recognition, you bring heaven to life here and now. Your soul was created for light, to sing with love, to be immersed in God's endless joy. That is why passing things like fame, possessions, or status can never fill the deep hunger in your soul, because they are not eternal, and you were made for eternity. My beloved, don't forget this amidst all the other voices. When you feel lost, when the world confuses you, return to your center and listen for heaven's echo within. It will remind you, you were not born to merely survive, but to journey toward your true home. And you will never walk alone, because God is always with you, always waiting, always guiding. Let your heart be led by that hope. For your true home is not here, but where there are no more tears, no more death, no more goodbyes, where God is all in all. Do not let the mistakes of your past become chains that bind you. Perhaps you have taken the wrong path, made poor choices, hurt others and yourself. But my beloved, in God's eyes, nothing is beyond healing. No wound is too deep. No new beginning is ever too late. He does not wait for you with a clean resume or a perfect soul. He waits with open arms, a gentle heart, and eyes full of hope. Every time you turn back, Heaven bursts into joyful song. Beginning again doesn't mean denying the past, but having the courage to move forward from where you are, right here, in this very moment. God is inviting you. Choose goodness. Live again in love. Let me continue your story in a way more beautiful than you ever imagined. You do not need to wait until you feel worthy, because the call to return is not for the perfect, but for those who know they need love. Jesus did not come to condemn, but to heal, to restore, and to give you new hope. Let every step you take today become a gentle, yet powerful yes. You do not need to see the entire path. Just take one step in the light, and then another. Every act of love you choose today, every prayer you whisper, however weak, is the beginning of something new in God. He does not count how many times you fall. He watches every time you dare to rise. And in each of those moments, His love grows deeper, more tender, and more complete than ever before. So if today you hear His voice, do not delay. Do not let the fear of your past or the shame of your failures hold you back. God does not keep a ledger of your wrongs. He keeps your heart. And in that heart, there is always room for a new beginning. Always hope for a soul that dares to return. It is never too late, because the love of God never runs dry, and life with Him can begin again starting now. In this very moment, my beloved child, there are moments when God feels absent, when your prayers seem to echo into nothingness, when your heart grows weary from waiting without a response. But dear one, it is precisely in those silent, seemingly empty moments that He is nearer than ever before. God does not manifest Himself through fleeting feelings, but through steadfast faithfulness, quiet, yet never distant. Like the wind you cannot see but still moves the branches. Like sunlight that shines even through heavy clouds. God remains surrounding your life with a quiet, loving presence. Scripture recalls moments when even God seemed silent, like when Jesus, in agony on the cross, cried out, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Cf. Mount 27-46. Yet in that silence, the work of salvation was being completed. It reminds you that God's presence does not depend on your feelings, but on an unshakable truth. You may not see with your eyes or hear with your ears, but if you quiet your heart, you will notice the small signs He leaves along your path: a word of comfort at the right time, a kind glance, an unexpected gesture of love, all whispering, "I am still here." And, my dear one, let your heart trust beyond emotion. Faith is not always feeling God's presence. It is choosing to believe He is there, even when you feel empty. It is in those trials, in the wilderness of your soul, that God quietly plants the seeds of new life. He does not stand at a distance to judge. He leans down, walks with you, and patiently waits. He waits for a glance back, a whispered word, a sincere heartbeat, more than anyone else. He understands your fragility and still chooses to stay. So don't let silence make you doubt. Don't let the darkness make you forget the light. Keep walking faithful even with hesitant steps, for you are never alone. In the desert, God sent manna. At sea, He parted the waters. And in the deepest night of your soul, He still lights a flame of hope. For He is Emmanuel, God with us, not just in peace. But even in your confusion and darkness, in life, you can choose many things: your job, where you live, your relationships. But the most important choice is where you place your trust. And there is no nobler or more certain choice than placing your trust in God, the true light, the one who never changes, the only one who can give you fullness of life. Choosing God doesn't mean you'll avoid suffering, but it does mean you will never have to walk through it alone. It means living with a heart that knows how to hope, how to love, and how to forgive. When you choose God, if you choose to walk in the light, even when the world around you is still shadowed, you choose an inner joy that outlasts fleeting emotions. You choose love as your compass, not fear or selfishness. Choosing God is choosing to live by faith, to rely on grace, and to open your heart to daily miracles, just like St. Peter, who was sinking in the water and cried out, "Lord, save me," and Jesus immediately reached out his hand. I'm 14:30-31. So too, when you choose God, you choose to be held, to be kept, and never to be abandoned. Not everyone will understand or agree with that choice. You may be called naive, too soft, or too different. But my dear one, in God's eyes, nothing is more precious than a soul who chooses Him not out of fear, but out of love, not from obligation, but from trust. And that kind of love, when lived to the end, will shine not only over your life, but over the lives of those still searching for a way home. So today, if you stand before many choices, choose the one that brings you closer to God. Choose the one that brings peace to your soul, even if it requires sacrifice. Choose light. Choose truth. Choose life, for in doing so, you are choosing God Himself. And when you choose Him, you will never walk in darkness, but have the light that gives life. Each day is a gift, and within that gift, God hides Himself. Whoever opens their heart will receive Him not just for today, but forever. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this: you are not just an audience. You are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any sacred message. Amen.